This is a quick introduction to Google Keep. If you aren't familiar with Google Keep, it's really a great tool into which you can add notes, lists, photos, audio, and quick doodles related to work, your personal life, or maybe even teams and groups that you're a part of. It's kind of like Post-it notes for your devices. These notes can be accessed from any internet-connected device, whether it be your computer, your mobile phone, or a tablet. So let's take a look. So in order to get to Google Keep, there are two ways that you can do this. So one way to do this is to type in keep.google.com and hit the enter key. While this is loading, I'm going to go to a second tab, and after you're signed in, you have a couple links in the upper right hand corner. This is known as the waffle, and when you click on the waffle, it opens up, and at the top it will display all of the core Google apps, of which Keep is now part of. And so you just click on this link here and it will open up Google Keep that way as well. I'm going to go back to my first tab as it is now probably fully loaded. About a week ago, Keep became part of the core Google apps along with Drive, Docs, Slides, Sheets, Forms, Classroom, Gmail, Calendar, Sites, Hangouts, and Vault. So what is Google Keep? Well, basically it's a place to keep online sticky notes. These notes can be shared across your internet-connected devices, and they are supported both on iOS as well as Android platforms. So let's take a look at what a note looks like. At the very top of your Google Keep window is the area that you're going to actually add your note into. And when you click in here, you're going to do what is called Take a Note. So I click in here, and I'm going to click back on Title, and my title is going to be PD 2017-2018. If I click down in the Take a Note section, my note's going to be Professional Development Meeting. And I'm going to list a couple of them. So the first one might be on 3/21 of 17, the next one on 4/21 of 17, and then on 5/21 of 17. At the very bottom of this window are some links. So we can set a reminder for this, and we can set a reminder for later today and specify a time. Tomorrow, next week, we can pick a specific date and time, and we can pick a place. I might want to be reminded of the professional development meeting when I get to school. And so if I click on this, using its geo capabilities, it will notify me when I arrive at school. Or if I set a reminder for when I go home, it'll remind me when I go home. So if I decide I want this to remind me when I get to school, I would type in my school address, and there's my school. And then you'll notice that at the bottom here is the school address. So when I get to 161 North Main Street, it will remind me. Okay, another one of these tools is the collaborator. Because this is a note for professional development meeting, I might want to collaborate with my curriculum director, Joe Albin. So I start typing his name, and all of the contacts that match my entry from my Google contacts list show up. I just click on Joe's name and he is now part of this. When I click on save, it will put his avatar or his identifier through Google down here, and if I mouse over it, it will give me his email. So all of my collaborators will be listed down here. Now, as far as organization, you can color code your notes. So all of my professional development notes are blue. So I'm going to click on blue, and you can see that this is now going to be easily identifiable by me. The next tool over is that you can add an image. So I'm going to add an image from my desktop that has to do with professional development. So I double click on it, and you can see it's now adding this graphic. This button will let you archive your note, so it doesn't really go away. You can always get back to it, but it kind of puts it in the background for you. These are the hot dogs, otherwise known as the more buttons, but we'll come back to that in a minute. So let's go back and set a reminder for 1 minute from now so that you can see what the reminder would look like. So I'm going to go back to my main area, and I want to do later today. And I want to specify a time. So I'm going to do it at 5:26 a.m. And I'm not going to repeat it. I'm going to click on save, and then that will pop up in just a minute. So you can keep things like your grocery list in Google Keep, a to-do list. Actually, let me click on Done here. As an example, if I scroll down, earlier in the year, I took the help desk students to the Apple store on a field trip. And so I had put together a listing of all of the questions, and there's my reminder. So I'm just going to click on OK for now. So again, for this field trip to the Apple store, I had put together a number of questions that I wanted the students to address while we were on this field trip. And as I scroll down, you'll see that there are 10 of them. But there's an ellipse right here, which means that there's more information. So when I click on the ellipse, you can see that there's actually 12 items that they were to try to answer while we were on this field trip. At the bottom, you can see that I had collaborated with each of the students so that they could get to this, they could make a copy of it and have their own copy, so that if I was one of the students and maybe I had already addressed item number 10, just like a checklist, I could click on that and 10 disappears, so it goes from 9 to 11. Again, if I click on the ellipse, it will show me all of my items at the top, 1 through 9, and then 11 and 12. At the bottom, you can see that I have one completed item, and here's my item. It's crossed out because I've supposedly completed it. If you click on the X, it will delete this item, and if I click back here on this box, it will move the item from completed back into where it belongs, so numerically it's back where it belongs in the uncompleted items. Let me go back up to the top. So as you're seeing on some of these, I have these labels so that I can also identify or pull up or search for just certain labels. So to add my label, I can click on the More button here and add a label, or if I'm in my note, I can click on the More buttons, and from here I can either delete a note and add a label. But there's another way I want to show you that you can do this. If you click in your note, and I'm going to hit the enter key, and I'm going to do hashtag, and I start typing, it will show me all my labels that meet the criteria that I'm putting in so far. So here's meetings, I click on that, and now I have meetings. So just like I had checkboxes in my Apple field trip, I want to put checkboxes in this note. So if you go to the More buttons again, and I can say show checkboxes. Google Keep is smart enough to know that when you are entering information into your notes area, every time you hit the enter key, it reads that as a new entry, so that when I click on show checkboxes, everywhere that I had hit the enter key now gets its own little checkbox. If I now go back to the More buttons, to the hot dogs, you can see that I now have the option to hide my checkboxes if I want. So here is my label that we had put on a minute ago. It's also up here. Now, why do I have it in both spots? As you're scrolling through your Post-it notes, on these longer ones, you may not see what the label is until you get to the bottom. This way you can see it right at the top and you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the note. As I had said before, you can access all of your Google Keep notes on your various devices. You can also take notes on your various devices. So here's my phone's screen. So in the lower left-hand corner, just above my Pokemon app, is my Google folder. I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to swipe over, and there's my Google Keep. So I'm going to tap on that, and it will open up all of my notes. And you can see at the top is that blue professional development meetings note that we just did. So one of the things that I have available up at the top over on the left are the hamburgers, the 3 lines. So if I click on that, I can see all of my labels. I can see my notes and reminders at the top, and at the bottom there's some other options. You can look at your archives, your settings, and so forth. I'm going to go back to my notes. At the bottom of my screen, there's a Take a Note tab. You'll see that over on the far right is a camera. When I tap on that, it gives me the option to take a photo or choose an image. I can take a photo right from here, and I can take a photo of, say, these lovely flowers. So I'm going to tap photo, and I take that photo, and it now says, do you want to retake a photo, or do I want to use this photo? So I'm going to use this photo, and it will automatically put the flowers in my note. My title is going to be Flowers, and that's all I have to do for my note. So I'm going to hit the back button, and now you can see my flowers are at the top of my Google Keep notes. So that is something that you cannot do on your computer's Google Keep, is you cannot take a picture with it. The other thing that you cannot do on your computer's Google Keep Notes is the option that is just to the left of that camera at the bottom. Microphone. So I'm going to tap on that and I'm going to take what is called an audio note. Add the topic of HyperDocs to my Summer 2017 Professional Development Offerings. So I finished taking my audio note. I'm going to tap in the title and I'm going to say PD 2017 to 2018. I can play this back right here. Okay, so I'm back in my desktop version of Google Keep. If I refresh my screen, I can now see the picture that I took on my iPhone. I can also see the note that I took on my iPhone. So I'm going to open this up. So if I tap on the play button, add the topic of HyperDocs to my Summer 2017 Professional Development Offerings. You can hear it play. I can download this audio if I want, or I can just keep it in here, which I'm going to do. But I do want to put this in blue so that it coordinates with all of my other blue professional development notes. So I have one more thing for you, and that's a challenge. So here is my Google Keep challenge. There are 2 of them. As step number 6 says, add me as a collaborator so that I can see that you've completed this. Have fun working with Google Keep.